Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world. How are we doing this fine Thursday? Today, we're going to be diving deep into what's been going on here at FAIR, the development, the updates. And with me today, I have three very, very special people. And let's jump into who exactly they are. We all know the guy to my right, but we will come back to him. But let's start with the lovely lady straight down, Polina. Polina, why don't you give the peoples a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Polina. I'm head of product and scale and FAIR. My daily routine, it's compiling like roadmaps, timelines, releases, plan our like action items for like some period of time. So yeah, happy to dive deeper in our developer updates. So yeah, nice to be here.
Amazing, amazing. And then next to her, we have Mr. D3.
Hey. So my name is Dmitro, or D3. We have three Dimas in Scale, and I'm one of them. So I'm deputy CTO in Scale, and I'm managing engineering team. Yes, so I'm happy to share all the insights, not all, but some of the insights from engineering side, and provide the information about our plans and what we currently have.
Yes, on this stream and these type of situations, we do like to potentially leak some things. So you will not, anything you say will not be held against you in the future. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Stan. How are you doing?
Good, Benjamin. Actually, I just got back from ETHCC. So we announced at ETHCC, we announced FAIR. I talked to lots and lots of people, potential partners, customers, also developers that want to run applications on FAIR. It was lots of fun. And then finally, the best day was I was flying back to Lisbon, and then there was a strike. Pretty much everyone at the ETHCC got stuck for another day in France. So I went to a beach, and that was the best day. That was the best day. So I'm really relaxed and energized both by the ETHCC conference. So let's make this one fun.
100%.
People that don't know me, I'm the co-founder of Scale. We've been running Scale for about 5 years now. We have about 3 million transactions per day. And Scale has been helping Ethereum network a lot. But this year we made this decision to run our own L1 FAIR. And I hope we talk later today about why we did this.
Yeah, and I can't lie, getting stuck in the south of France for an extra day, you know, you can't really complain. One day I'll take a vacation. I'll go to the south of France.
Vacation anytime, Falcor. You just have like a virtual screen. We don't know where you are. So
you know what? That's a great point. I'll just take a photo of this, and then I'll green screen myself on, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
No, amazing, and I'm glad ETHCC was such a success. You know, we got to see your talk as well. That is actually a video on the ETHCC's YouTube. You guys can also see we're going to be producing a bunch of clips, and then also the actual talk itself will be going live. So if you guys are more interested and want to learn more about FAIR and Stan's talk at ETHCC, be on the lookout for that in the coming days. Yes, it's awesome. It's one of those conferences where you know, Web3 conferences can be a little hit or miss at times. You know, sometimes it's just one big party and no one's actually getting any work done or anything like that. But ETHCC definitely looked and it felt like there was good progress being made, especially from FAIR's point of view.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, I would say that to be honest or frank, in a funny way, let's be honest and frank in a funny way. You know, I think everyone knows scale. We've been running so many games and AI applications, and Ethereum was there for 10 years. We love Ethereum. But a general feeling, not only our feeling, but general feeling is that the ecosystem got stuck. People don't really use Web3. Web3 is experimental, and pretty much everyone else copies Ethereum. So after Ethereum got stuck, everyone else got stuck. So the question is why? And there are three things we're going to talk a little later, which are privacy, security, and agency. All those things are actually missing from blockchain, and especially the first thing. And with FAIR, we are able to do this proof of encryption, where we're the first blockchain ever in the history of this universe that is able to put encrypted data on blockchain. And so once we realized that we could do this breakthrough, we decided to run FAIR.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Myself and Sawyer waste our weekends kind of just ideating and coming up with crazy situations to utilize Byte and the encryption, because it opens up an entirely new potential arm of blockchain. I was talking to my friend in the British Army, and I said to him, hey, imagine a communication platform that was completely encrypted. It had no ISP. It was just peer-to-peer. And he was like, yeah, that would be incredible, because at the moment, can't do much outside of using sat phones and things like that. But for them, it just opens up so many different potential opportunities. And so, Stan, I guess kind of how we want to kick this off is like kind of the big question: why FAIR? Why did you guys want to build it?
Yeah, so let me continue on this track about product market fit. Product market fit basically means that when you produce a product, people need to use it. And if the product is not used, you need to keep on modifying it until you get users. And so you ask a very simple question: why it's impossible to move Web 2 to Web 3? You can just take a very simple example of like a e-commerce store like Amazon, right? And then you order things from the store. Your orders are private. Your communications with the customer support are private. Yes, the actual products are public, the prices are public, but there are lots of private things. And because blockchain is not able to hold private data, it's impossible to move such a simple thing, a web store. It's impossible to move to blockchain. So that's why it's absolutely needed to have privacy, meaning encryption, this proof of encryption. So that's number one, privacy. Number two, security. So many people getting hacked. A couple of months ago, there was this $1.5 billion hack of blockchain. So people feel insecure on Web 3. People feel secure on Web 2. On Web 2, you have customer support for your bank. Something bad happens, they investigate. So you need security on Web 3. And last thing, which is also important, is agency. On Web 2 can do things actively, like very simple thing, like send you like a SMS message, right? A blockchain is by definition passive. You submit things to it, but it cannot actively do anything. It cannot run an agent. It cannot run a very simple Python script, right? So that's also something which is absolutely needed if you move a Web 2 application to Web 3. So based on that, we identified the three things: privacy, security, and agency. And FAIR is going to be very different. It's going to be incredibly different thing compared to Ethereum. We are already very different, and will probably be much, much more different. So we're essentially creating this absolutely new space. We are creating this kind of independent ship. And there will be more things coming. There's lots of work, so we are making higher priority for things that are more impactful for people. And that's why the first thing for us is MEV, maximum extracted value protection. So FAIR is MEV free. And the first ever blockchain that is MEV free, and we actually already have the testnet for this MEV feature.
Yeah, we're super excited, for the DevNet, to potentially bring on, builders. If you are a builder that is interested in, jumping on and utilizing Byte and FAIR and the technology that is being built there. Make sure you join the Discord, reach out to the great Axios on Twitter, and come be part of the future, because this is genuinely groundbreaking things. It's been incredible. And then Polina, I guess not a huge amount of people have seen you on the interwebs, and as the head of product, I guess, kind of like, what is your focus been when approaching the FAIR initiative?
Yeah, I could start from point that before we started development FAIR, we spent, I think, several months on strategy and scope planning. We worked closely with executive team leaders to define our goals, shape the roadmap, and ally on our main priorities. And I could say that during this phase, we wrote a large number of PRDs, documentations, then we set clear timelines for different work streams that we currently have. And we have a lot of different currently streams. And I could say, just to summarize, as a product, my main focus to ensure that we have actionable plan for every day, and that the features that we deliver, it's truly address customer needs that customer have. So yeah.
Yeah, it's we've been that's the thing, right? And I think it's super important, right? That we keep on mentioning, and I think it's super important to keep on mentioning, is product market fit and actual innovation versus doing the same of everything, right? There are so many blockchains out there that are continuing to just look at what Ethereum's doing, do it a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper, right? And that's not innovation. That is barely anything, right? And there's a reason why, there hasn't been a huge amount of, moving the needle for these, layer 2s or rollups or even layer 1s, because they're not innovating. And that is the differentiation that we here at Scale and FAIR are bringing, is this new level of innovation, true privacy, true decentralization, and honestly what blockchain is designed for. So D3, you're about to talk about a bunch of things that I am just not smart enough to really understand, but if you can dumb it down for me, it would be really, really appreciated. Could you kind of break down what it is that the Byte protocol is at a high level, and how it really bolsters the FAIR architecture?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'm glad to share this today with you all. And talking about FAIR, we were going to this point and to this idea for the several years, I think, as we previously and currently have a lot of chains that, as Stan mentioned, are using for games and different DApps, and there are 3 million transactions per day currently. But what we are doing right now, we are innovating and we are going forward with completely new technology, with Byte protocol. And what it is doing, with Byte protocol, we can basically send encrypted transactions, and anyone will see them until they will be in the block. So it's opened us a huge field of opportunities in terms of DeFi, in terms of probably some storing some data on the blockchain that shouldn't be published until it will be in blocks. So it's really a lot of use cases, and we are talking right now about MEV protection, but we already see many ways how can we use and how can we evolve the Byte protocol and using this new feature. So from our side, we already developed and runs our network that is using byte protocol, and we are currently collecting and seeing what are the feedback and how it is using. So recently, like several weeks ago, we open sourced our byte TS library. So it is you can basically go to our GitHub, and you could see it in our pinned repos, and just try. If you wish to interact with byte right now, you can go and to our repos on the GitHub and just check it. So you can install and run. So you can encrypt transaction, send them to the byte or FAIR endpoint, as FAIR has byte integrated into the blockchain, and you can send these transactions. So yeah, you can use it for different use cases, and it's really exciting to see the new features that are going to be released in the public network soon on our testnet and on our mainnet.
Yeah, and there's something you mentioned there that I think is important to kind of reiterate is, you know, the solving of MEV, right? Which is realistically a hidden tax on every blockchain ever created, and it's something that you might not even notice yourself. There's a website out there, and I'll link it, that actually showcases all MEV attacks that are happening at every moment across Ethereum and Solana. And you may only be losing 30 cents or 20 cents on a trade. But when that's happening, every trade, when you have thousands upon thousands of trades every second, these MEV extractors are walking away with millions of dollars a week, a month, a year. And they're not doing anything. They are legitimately just stealing money from you. And in today's day and age, when we have the likes of AI agents for agentic DeFi, automated trading, you know, you can't have this. We are, as an industry, being held back by MEV. We cannot push the boundaries of truly decentralized DeFi in every mechanic until MEV has been fixed. You cannot do clubs, you cannot do order books, because people are just going to front run you, they are going to sandwich attack you, and they are going to take your money. And that's something that with FAIR and Byte, we can now completely remove from the equation. With encrypted transactions, what you do on chain is private. And that means it opens up an entirely new potential and opportunities for your DeFi activities. And that is something to be so excited about, because imagine like this is what I want to do. This is really what I want to do. I'm taking a bit of a ADHD segue here, right? Is you take like $100, you give it to an AI trading bot, and you tell that AI trading bot, do a trade every second. You can't do that on Ethereum or Solana, because you'll run out of money in like 30 minutes because you've been MEV'd. You've been MEV'd so hard that you've lost all of your money. Even if you made no profit or loss, you're still losing money on the trades because of MEV. While with FAIR, you can do that. You can just spam 1,000 trades in 10 minutes, and all you're taking is your profit and loss. And that's something to be so excited about.
Absolutely, Benjamin. And I think we just internally yesterday had this interesting conversation about cloud computing. There was a time where all of the software was on premises, and then this company, Salesforce, invented cloud computing, And then they had this ad where they had said no software, because before cloud computing, lots of people made money on software, right? You would have an enterprise, and then consultants would come, install software, run the software, upgrade the software. There was a huge business that actually died after cloud computing started. The point is that lots of people benefited from on-premises software. There was lots of money. And when Salesforce came up with this idea of cloud computing, it was very controversial and actually aggressive, because people loved making money in software. And when Salesforce said, okay, there's no software, it wasn't really happy moment for many people. Very much the same, I think, with MEV. When we say no MEV, let's be clear, right? It's actually a controversial statement, because lots of people make money from MEV, and I understand those people, and they can actually create lots of arguments saying, okay, it's good for blockchain, it's good for that. And so we actually not only eliminating MEV, but it is a little bit controversial what we are doing, because we are saying MEV should not be there. It's not good. We are saying MEV is not fundamentally not good. It should not be there. And it's a very principal difference between what we are saying and others people are saying, because of the money, again, because of the business they have.
Yeah, I agree. And the big question is who are the people that are running MEV at large scale? I have my theories.
I know who they are, actually. I know, it's actually, I probably would be too controversial if I would name these people. But the reality is that if you that's life, right? You work for open source blockchain, right? You are an engineer. You work for the blockchain. Maybe you joined late, so you don't really have so many tokens of this blockchain, right? How do you make money? You have this blockchain, you have this exchange which generates billions of volume. So and then you know how your blockchain works. So a very natural thing for you as engineer is to run an MEV business, side MEV business. So what you basically do, you hire some people, you know how the blockchain works. You are able to install a node, very fast node, very low latency, very efficient node, and then here's your MEV extraction business. And then now the infrastructure is so great, you immediately find people that will provide you transactions. It's a big business, so which is easy to enter now. So it's very much, I think I like this analogy with on-premises software versus cloud software, right? It's not like on-premises guys were evil. It's just, it was lots of business. You would go and the software would be complex and you would have to install it. Then it would crash. Then you would get paid to fix it, to update it. It was just a huge number of small businesses. With MEV, the same, And I understand people that, I'm not blaming people that do this, but we're just saying that it's not we're having a product where this is not possible. It's a free thing. So, and it's a really a revolutionary thing, I think. It's a big difference in blockchain.
No, yeah, 100%. And, continuing on with Byte, that was a bit of a focus point for phase one of FAIR. And I guess Stan, can you kind of explain to us and the audience what the core goal of this phase was and kind of what was achieved?
Yeah, that's a great question, Benjamin. And basically, MEV is kind of a tip of the iceberg. There is a big problem of privacy, right? And encryption, proof of encryption. But MEV is incredibly hot. I was at the CTHCC conference, people at the speaker area we're talking about MEV so much. You don't even need to explain this now. Everyone is talking about MEV. It's incredibly hot, and it just brings you to the entire field of privacy. That's why we chose an MEV, because we have limited resources, and if we want to solve the privacy, we want phases. MEV just the hottest thing, and then from MEV we'll go to other encrypted stuff. So that's why we chose an MEV. Second thing is that byte is like antibiotics. You know, before antibiotics were invented, lots of people died from very simple things like cold, influenza, you know, you name it. There were some remedies. Some people didn't die, but sometimes remedies worked, sometimes they didn't work. When penicillin was introduced, all of the remedies got basically run away, right? Because with antibiotics, you take a pill and suddenly you were supposed to die. And now you're alive and well. So it's this solution. It's not a solution. It's this solution. Because if you have an antibiotic that works, you don't need anything else. The same is true about byte. So byte is not a solution. It is the solution in the sense that the blockchain itself probably eliminates MEV. You don't even need to think about this. It's very much like when you take a penicillin, you don't know how it works, but you don't have cold anymore, right? So what we have is that this solution, we are not scared about anyone else. And then it's something which is really hard to do because it's on the boundary of possible and impossible. Blockchain is already very complex, and then you want to encrypt some of the transactions. So you're adding lots of complexity. You have like a BMW car, which is already very complex, and then you're adding wings to it, and it needs to fly, right? So it's on the boundary of possible. We can do this because our consensus is 100% mathematically clean and documented. So we can basically add a very complex thing into a thing which is already very complex. So we're being able to do it, we run it, and we know that other people will not be able to do it for the next at least 3 years. So FAIR is going to be the only thing. Now, the very simple explanation for everyone how FAIR works and how byte works is that this regular blockchain, if you send your transaction, it's like a postcard, sending a postcard. So you send a postcard to someone, but the information is just publicly available. Anyone at the post office can read this information. That's the postcard, right? And all blockchains, starting from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everyone else that copied Ethereum, are sending postcards. Everything is public. With byte, we actually have an envelope. Encryption is like an envelope. So if your letter is inside the envelope, no one can read it. So it goes through the post office, goes through whatever, like ship, plane, whatever, how to get delivered. And then when it's delivered to you, you open the envelope and you read the information. Very much in our case, people submit encrypted transactions, and they go through all of the steps encrypted. And then when EVM gets it at the very last stage, it decrypts it using a super cool decryption algorithm, which is kind of a multi-sig decryption, and then it runs it. So that's the fundamental difference, and that's why the thing is so much different compared to other blockchains.
Yeah, no, amazing. It really helps kind of put into perspective the scope of, you know, what FAIR really is and what we're building towards. And, you know, ideas are just that, and you need implementation. So D3, this one's over to you. You know, obviously, I'm sure there is a lot of work that has gone into getting phase 1 finished and finalized. So, you know, what were some of those key engineering milestones?
Oh, it's a great question. It's really a big milestone for us, the phase 1. Phase 1, it's about validating that byte actually can be done and it works well. And currently, we already have this validation already in public. It's running on our network. So there was two main things to be done. The first one, it's obviously on the VM part, on the virtual machine part, integrating the byte protocol, integrating into our machine that is already the fastest blockchain in the world. We are already running on with a huge speed and with a huge transactions per second metrics. And we were taking this virtual machine, and above it we put the completely new thing, byte protocol. We integrated into consensus, and Stan and Sydney and Oleg, it's our core engineers and the ones who basically developed byte protocol. They were working on this, I think, days and nights to deliver it. And it's in the middle of April. We already finalized. It was really tons of work here in the office. We were spending evenings and late evenings to finalize all these things. And the second part is about our users and about our customers that are going to interact with byte protocol. And for them, we created the wrapper, the basically all-in-one tool that called ByteS. So this library that includes everything to encrypt and decrypt transactions. So from your perspective as end user, and when you are interacting with, for example, DeFi or with some DApp, you will not even notice that you are doing some extra steps to encrypt transactions. In fact, everything is included in this library, and you can just put 2 lines of code into your application and just run encrypted byte transaction on FAIR. And it's pretty much easier. And what's even more important, that from the end user perspective, you don't need to change anything in your stack of technologies. You can just integrate into your current, you can use MetaMask, for example. When we were testing, we were basically building some simple applications with UI that are interacting with byte protocol, and we were using the same stack of technologies that we are using for the regular chains, like MetaMask, endpoints, and so on. So the big and main advantage of byte protocol is that you don't need to install tons of extra tools and trying to understand how it works. You can just install the library and just send the same transaction as it was previously. So it's pretty much easier on your side, but it's really hard and complicated inside the consensus.
Yeah, it's it just works. That is my favorite phrase as of late is just works. Don't need to think about it. Don't need to work. Just works. But sometimes it doesn't just work. You know, for example, a random colon on line 3412. That very specific because I was dealing with that for about a week. Didn't realize it was there. But what, you know, obviously there's got to be issues and potential challenges that you've had to face, you know. Can you go through maybe some of those?
Yeah, of course. It was several iterations of library and of the byte protocol. First, we were encrypting only data field, and then we were like running some tests, like collecting feedback, and see that, oh, it would be cool also to hide the field to address. And we decided to encrypt not only data field but also the to address. And so currently, when you are sending transaction to byte, no one can see to which address you are sending it and with what data basically you are sending this. So it would be impossible to some MEV bots to retrieve some useful information from your transaction while it's in pending queue. So it was like the first iteration and the second iteration of the byte protocol to add this new feature. Also, I will not go too deep into like bug fixing and some bugs, but what I can say is that those bugs that we faced, they're already fixed, and that's why we have open sourced our library. And you can go check it and you can find, if you will find issues, please reach out to us and text us.
Yeah, we'll fix it, and or we'll we'll fix it. I didn't know where I was going to go with that. But you know, to your guys' point, you know, you did get FAIR live, you know, and we got that initial demo. And Polina, I guess to you, like, how must have been nerve-wracking showing it to people, but you know, how did that initial demo go? And you know, did it prove the concepts? Was it everything we had hoped for?
Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, if we talk about during like internal Byte demo, we just showcased end-to-end transaction flow using the Byte protocol. And as already D3 and Stan mentioned, like the main point, it was to demonstrate the transaction are encrypted before consensus and only decrypted after finalization, so ensuring like privacy throughout the process. Yeah, and also to make demo more visual, like, and accessible, and probably some of you already see video from Byte announcement. We built a small web interface that allows us to execute transaction and track their status. And also we ran Block Explorer to provide also additional transparency into the process. So I think we have several Byte demo, like internal with our business team, some showcases, marketing team. So yeah, I think we prove that it's work. It's work on like setup that FAIR chain will have. So yeah, happy to share in like to spoilers to next phases of development what was done.
Hey, we love spoilers out here, and it's so hot, you know. Maybe we need some leaks, pipe leaks, and Polina leaks. So why don't you give us a bit of kind of those phase 2 milestones for developers development?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I could say that phase 2 already. We already implemented, it's already done, and it was focused on building like main foundational components of layer 1 architecture, as FAIR will be layer 1 chain. So our one of the key milestones was that we successfully deployed and launched FAIR chain in our development network environment on our DevNet. And it ran on 22 nodes committee. And also we implement block reward mechanism that also was done during this phase. Yeah, so I think, we just have, like, I think this week, we have several demo for FAIR node registration process and startup process of mainnet FAIR launch. So it was a lot of work done on blockchain infrastructure team. And we also have several demos this month.
No, amazing. And it's interesting because you actually mentioned something that I wanted to call out on, which was validators, right? Because I feel like across the interwebs, there have been misconceptions on exactly what MEV is. A lot of people think it kind of is just these two sandwich attacks or front running or back running or something like that. But it really isn't. There are so many different ways for MEV to be a problem. I mean, you know, MEV also comes from information, right? You know, AI agent strategy is impossible to do without encryption. Otherwise, people will, hey, guess what? See what your AI agent is doing and then front run you. Doesn't matter if they stop it at consensus and mempools or anything. The information itself is still public. And another big one as well is validators, right? Because whether you have validators that are whether your staking mechanism is like proof of stake, proof of work, something like this, you know, or you have massive, large validators. In the end, validators do also have the ability to produce MEV, right? And I think it's very important to make people aware of that, right? It's not just and validators aren't the blockchain; they are private entities, right? And even if you're doing something like roll-ups where all of the transactions go together in a single block, validators still have the ability to delay or push the blocks in different orders. Just because the transactions are all together in one block, it doesn't mean that the validators can't say, oh, this block is actually going to come first. And it allows the validators to review the transactions that are coming through first, put in their own transactions, and push that block first. Then your transactions come in second, which is a form of MEV. I've seen some conversations about this across across Twitter over the past couple of days, and I just wanted to kind of put that out there, that MEV is not just your traditional sandwich attacks and things like that. Large institutions, validators, everyone can and is involved. And I think everything I said was pretty accurate. Does that make sense, Stan?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I want to come back to this analogy with penicillin. I'm sure before antibiotics, lots of people made money. Yeah, you were like dying, and they would provide you a really nice bed. There was lots of business for dying people, and these people got eliminated by antibiotics. So it's capitalism. It's how things work. We live in a society which is a free economy. I understand that for people that run MEV, and these are like validators, there's huge infrastructure, billions of dollars now in this thing. And as you said, it's just pretty much any protocol. If submit any information, if it's private, AI can analyze it and make money. Very simple idea. When you say, example, prediction markets like Poly market, right? Let's say you know that a particular presidential candidate is going to win. You're submitting a transaction to bid on this presidential candidate, and people see it and front run you. So pretty much everything. If you're sending postcards, it's a very generic problem. How people benefit from this. And we, in our case, we totally eliminate this. As Dima just said, they don't need to change anything. They just do their existing stuff, like smart contracts, like JavaScript, whatever UI they have, and it just runs. So it's penicillin in the sense that it's such a great solution, nothing else is needed, because it just doesn't exist on FAIR. And we need to be ready, and we are ready to aggressively promote our ideas, because we understand there'll be lots of people saying not MEV is good. We are saying it's bad. And that's why we're taking this independent more kind of journey. We loved Ethereum, but we are actually going to do this new thing, which is going to be MEV free. It's going to have privacy, agency, security. And that's our big new shiny object. And even if for a while we're going to be alone doing it, it's totally fine. And it's welcome for people that can argue that MEV is good. They're welcome to discuss with us.
And I will yell at you and say, no, it's bad. Go away.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's divide MEV, folks.
Well, the MEV shills at. Let me see who's paying you. So moving on from that, Stan, you did kind of briefly actually touch on this, but I guess it's and I'm a massive speculatory fan, and use cases, right? That's in essence blockchains and Web3 is only beneficial when it has use cases. And from your perspective, what use cases are there for FAIR and Byte?
Yeah, so basically, as pretty much any startup, we need to separate like hot use cases and use cases that will come later, because you need to concentrate on things that people need today. And so, if you look at agency, privacy, and security, definitely MEV is the hottest thing. So we're doing MEV just because it's the hottest now. Another thing which is the hottest, the second hottest, is AI agency. Pretty much very simple. When you wake up in the morning, let's say you want to buy a particular token and you want to time average, so you want to do it like every day, bit by bit. It's impossible to do it with Uniswap because Uniswap doesn't have agents or agency. You need to wake up every morning and buy a little bit of a token. So this agency, very simple AI agents, are the hottest thing after MEV. And that's where we want to do. Basically, we talked to many people in the industry. What needs to be done actually is that you need to be able to deploy a private agent that AI writes, like in Python, and then this private agent does very simple things like buys a little bit of a token, or maybe does rebalancing of your portfolio, or maybe does some arbitrage trading. So all of the mundane and boring tasks that DeFi guys have been doing manually can be automated by AI agents. So the next big thing for us, just from the point of view of hotness, is implement these AI agents in a very simple way. And for this one, we do have SJX in our system. It's a trusted execution environment where you can run trusted agents. So this is kind of the hottest thing. And then we have lots of things related to privacy. We have Byte phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, lots of things making DeFi private, making games private. So it's a big roadmap. But the final point of this roadmap is incredibly simple. What we want to do is you should be able to take any app, like a Web2 app, like an online bank, online store, any online social network. You should be able to take it and move it fast to Web3. That's why it's called Web3, because you should be able to take Web2 and move it to Web3. It's a very simple goal, but no one except us is actually trying to solve this problem, the funny thing, because the industry is stuck. They talk about Web3, but it does not exist. It's just a set of experimental things that people don't use. So we've chosen this direction where it's a big road, very exciting, and we're going to push on this road.
Yeah, agreed. It's it's super exciting because, to your point, like it does open up so many different use cases. It does open up.
The problem, Benjamin, is that when crypto had so much money, like a couple of years ago, the problem was there was too much money.
Yep.
And people did not want. There was no incentive to build things that users either use or pay for. Now there's no money. The good thing about having less money is that people it's going to be Darwinian selection, and you need to build something that users use. And it's kind of a scary environment, having not so much money, but on the other hand, it's actually much more healthier.
Okay, story time. So 2021, that was my first entry into Web3, and there was so much money going around because everything was speculative, and I think it's interesting that you even see some like projects and even blockchains nowadays that have been in this speculation phase for 4 years, because the moment you release your product, speculation is done, and then it's use cases. And at a previous company I was working for, we were in talks with a Web3 investment arm, and we had a game, we had a product, it was live, and they loved it. They're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Can't buy into it though because the product's live. It's like, what? It's like, well, when the product's live, there's no speculation. Why would users or Web3 users want to invest into it? And that was 2021, 2022. And, now people are like seeing that their speculative investments haven't paid off. And they're like, well, I don't want to speculatively invest into anything else anymore. So where are they going to put their money? They're going to put their money into products that actually have use cases, that are live, that have users, that have actual intrinsic benefit to the potential wider ecosystem. Which is, exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, we'll continue doing it. I think the point that we need to understand is that if we need to make more changes or change our direction, we'll do it. Our goal is to build something that people need And we will keep on doing this. It may be something totally different that will come up later, but we'll try to focus on things that people need.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I guess D3, you know, looking at phase 2, was there anything additional that it helped, that the completion of phase 2 helped validate from phase 1?
Yeah, so basically, when we released phase 1 of Byte protocol, it was our chain that currently you can go to the mainnet and try our scale chains with Byte protocol. And right now it's already a new product. It's already L1 chain with a Byte protocol that can work with the same as Ethereum. If previously we were saying that, okay, we are supporting Ethereum and we are running our scale chains to help Ethereum. Right now, we are saying that we are the next step from Ethereum and we are the next generation. And phase 2 showed us that we can run our own L1 chain with Byte protocol, with the high performance, higher than Ethereum, and as much as high as we currently have on our scale chains, and using our technologies that we were developing for I think 7 years. For 7 years, our technology can be used for something new and for something even more interesting way for FAIR to run the Byte not only on our internal DevNet or like Testnet, but on the real L1 chain, where validators and everyone can go and deploy whatever they want and can use Byte whatever they want. And probably they can find the new use cases and they can find how to use this private transactions, this encrypted data in their smart contracts, in their decentralized applications. Because what we see right now, it's like really a wide range of use cases, how we can use it in future, not only to beat MEV. We will beat MEV. We're already beating it right now, but it's new technology and it's a new technological leap. And what we want to do right now is to see as much use cases as possible from our DevNet and Testnet, and what we had here in engineering. We already validated the second phase. That means that we can run this L1 chain with 22 node committee, as Polina said, with Byte protocol, with load, with performance, really high performance, and we can afford it already to the public users. But we will make a next step. We will move to the phase 3 and make it even more easier for our validators and for our future users to being a part of the community and being a part of the committee. I think we can talk about this later in 1 minute.
Definitely. No, amazing. And then, you know, it's all about looking ahead, right? You know, the team has been making some incredible strides in getting everything done, and I think it's important for us to see, you know, what is next. Polina, what is coming in phase 3?
Yeah, so actually currently phase 3 in active development, and phase 3 is the focus of phase 3 is implementing committee rotation mechanism. Just to recap, I don't want to go like too tech, but the node committee is like active subset of nodes that tries to validate transaction from any source and propose new blocks. So all committee nodes just participate in consensus, produce blocks, and help to maintain up-to-date state of blockchain. So why we are doing this? The FAIR committee will consist of 22 nodes But what is really important with this committee rotation mechanism, we can give that not limited numbers of nodes can join the network and may be dynamically selected for committee participation over time. So we implement this to ensure decentralization and scalability of FAIR network. So it's really a big part of our development process. Currently, our engineers implementing this, and I hope in the end of July we will have new demo for committee rotation mechanism. So yeah, really excited.
And yeah, we're excited to be able to show it to the world as well. I am cautious that Stan has a very important meeting in 2 minutes, so I'm going to D3. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm gonna have to skip the. You're done, and you're done for now. Because I want to ask one final question to Stan, which is, when can developers start building?
I actually encourage people to contact us today. We actually already have several partners actually accessing the thing. Just to leak some alpha, we have this idea of kind of a Caruso circle. We don't want to be alone. We want to create a community, and this is a big new thing. And we want strong connections. We don't want weak partners. We want mafia. Right? Let's put it this way. So mafia in a good way. I mean, in a good way that when you have a weak partner, then they leave or whatever. And if you have a strong partner, that they actually can do things together. So we want to have a small group of actually strong partners. And we are willing to tie us together a lot with this project. So we'll be forming this circle. So if you want to be part of this circle, please contact us and we can give you access to it immediately. And you can start using it.
You heard it here first. Contact Stan, contact me, contact Sawyer, contact anyone. Start building today. Be in the foundation of FAIR, the future of DeFi and AI, MEV-free transactions, and really the next evolution of blockchain technology. Engineering team, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Been an absolute pleasure. Be on the lookout for posts from Stan, D3, Polina, everything about the future of DeFi and FAIR. And we will see you guys again next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Great.
See you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.